All right, what's going on, guys? We are live. I think everything is set up as well as it's gonna go. Getting ready for our CTL cast here for Week 3's matchup between LiT and Daily Life. Right off the bat here, we are noticing a couple green markings on our map. Oh, that's a good start. Blizzard connection lost. Let's hope that doesn't keep up. So yeah, we can see a couple walkovers that went in LiT's favor right off the bat here. Set number 1 going to go to LiT, and unfortunately the ace match as well going to LiT. So we're not going to be able to cast Axis playing this week. So there might be a little bit of a lack of drama towards the end when, you know, if the ace match does come into play, it's just going to be a walkover. So I'm just going to get that out of the way right away. You guys can see that right there. But we still have 5 matches we're going to be casting today, and I am really looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it here on Eastwatch for set number 2 between these two platinum players. There we go. Oh, I'm looking forward to this matchup here. And not just this matchup, but basically the entire week's matchup. StarCraft 2 is not responding. Okay, here we go. It's coming back. It's coming back. Oh, God, please. Don't do this to me, Blizzard. I think it's going to be fine. The game's been just finicky lately. It's just not been great. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. So we already have 2 points on the board here for LiT. In the top right corner of Eastwatch, representing Daily Life, it is the pink Zerg player, Iced. And that's a spawning pool. And in the bottom left corner, representing LiT, in the blue, it is Kenpachi. Basically calling out what his opponent is looking to be doing right now with that very quick pool. ZVZ to kick things off. Always a fun matchup. Sometimes you can get hit with a ton of ZVZs, just one after the other. I know there's been definitely moments in time where Zergs were always advancing and you were just getting ZVZs all the time. But it really is a pretty fun matchup. Early on, there's lots of different options and lots of different dynamics here. Now, there's no gas going here for Iced, so looking like he's just going to go for an early lane. Oh my god, that's going to be real annoying. Please stop doing that. But he's making 6 lanes with no speed. I wonder what he's going to do. I guess he's going to just drop a hatchery after that. He's definitely banking up the minerals for it, so probably going to be looking to take that second base and just get these lings out for some initial harass. We actually saw P. Sosa do something very similar to this in last week's cast against a Terran player. And I like it a little bit better against Terran because you can sort of cancel that low ground command center and then just get out of there. Against this player in Kenpachi, we'll see how much damage he can really do. I mean, at the end of the day, it is only 6 lings. He is making some more, though. So we'll have to see how this goes. The lings are marching across the field. It's very likely that an Overlord has spotted those. But here they are. It looks like they're going to try to get some early damage done on this hatchery. Let me just quickly lower the volume here. It should... Oh, God, Blizzard. Don't you dare. I thought I had already turned that down, to be honest. And I thought I had the music on, but it didn't accept my changes, I guess, last time. You see what I'm talking about here? I mentioned this in team chat where StarCraft 2 has just been really slow in the options menu. But we already got these links here. Kenpachi's probably not too pleased with what's going on here. He's going to go ahead and drop that Baneling Nest before speed. And these lings are going to get some damage done on these drones. Either, or over on this side here, more lings just chipping away. Not looking too good here for Kenpachi early on, just with these initial lings. And behind all this, there's just more and more lings coming non-stop. And without any Banelings, or without any lings of his own here, he's starting to lose a lot of stuff here. He's losing all his lings. He's lost several workers as well. Queen pops out. That's going to help a little bit. And Iced saying, screw speed. You don't need speed. You just need lots of lings. And eventually the lings will be cleaned up on both sides here. Now, Kenpachi does have the advantage of having 2 bases, but Iced has that as well, actually, so it's not even really an advantage. where Ice was able to kill enough workers to eventually come up with the worker lead. He is getting into gas as well, or he's wanting to anyway. I don't think he's actually mined any yet. And now Kenpachi's got a nice amount of lings here. He's got a baneling nest done, but no speed started yet. So the lings are going to have trouble. I really like what we're seeing with this baneling, just sort of wandering out onto the map. I've seen people like Winter do this kind of thing, where you just sort of spread banelings around random attack paths around the map, so that when he sends a flood at you, he might just run into one. But it looks like Iced is... he's getting prepared for like a counter all-in. Making lots of spine crawlers, setting the queens up in position, setting up a wall. And there's going to be a little bit of ling pressure here, but probably not all that much. That baneling going to take out exactly one Zergling. And yeah, I don't think Kenpachi's really looking to push here. So a little bit of an overreaction from Iced, but he's trying to be safe and keep his lead that he's got himself here. And he's continuing to drone up and going into roaches here. Meanwhile, Kenpachi trying to catch up on the worker count here. He's quite behind at this point. Making banelings at home as well. Just trying to stay defensive here. The thing is that neither player really looking to put any pressure on each other. So both players sort of going hard on that defense. I do like this, though. I wouldn't necessarily call this an overcommitment. Having one baneling here just to defend is really not going to be that bad. Ice is going to float in with the Overlord. He's going to see a bunch of drones at the natural and understand that, you know, there probably isn't anything that's going to be hitting him in the immediate future. Speed has been started here for Kenpachi, and still no speed for Ice. He's actually just going right into those roaches. And there are instances when you can do this, and when you're in iced position, you are able to, because you're nice and well defended. You don't necessarily need banelings if you are already getting roaches out. The banelings are there for when the roaches haven't hit yet. So Ice is looking like he's putting himself in a pretty good position here. Roachwarren coming down for Kenpachi as well. No lair yet for either player. Still a bit early for that, I guess, although not quite. I've seen lairs go down earlier than this, if you want to get that roach speed specifically. Third base going down for Kenpachi, and this is what he's going to need if he wants to start catching up. The worker count is getting a little closer, so that's always good. Noticing 41 dropped frames on the stream here. Hopefully it's not lagging too much. Don't usually drop frames, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening. That might be... I don't know. I don't know what that is. But with this amount of roaches up here, it's usually a good idea to take a couple lings and just throw them up the ramp and see what you're looking at here. Because he can get a really good idea of what's coming. He's going to see the wiggling Evo chamber and see the amount of roaches that are up here right now. It really looks like it's going to be a +1 roach attack. Maybe, but he is going up to lair as well, which is up here. So we're probably going to see roach speed as well. I don't know if Iced wants to wait for roach speed or if he wants to go attack with +1. He might even just make it like a +2 roach speed attack, which could definitely do some damage. But with no third base for so long, it's going to cause some trouble for him later on. We got spore crawlers going down here. Kenpachi is kind of guessing here that he's going to be up against some, oh, that's not going to be enough. And now he's going to see the roaches. He's going to see the spore crawlers are a bit of a waste there. It's not a huge investment to get the spores, but in a mirror matchup, it can definitely hurt, because that's 2 drones there that are now not mining and kind of giving Ice even more of a econ lead here. The natural's really not mining at all. He's got a lot of gas going here. I wonder what he plans to spend that all on. He's trying to get roaches out, and the attack is moving across the map now, so not quite as, you know, crisply timed with +1. In fact, roach speed is not even started yet either, so a little bit of a mistiming there for Ice, but I don't know, it might not matter. Now, this place is pretty well defended. There's no spine crawlers, though. The roaches are walking on creep, so Kenpachi has to know what's coming. I like this pre-split up here. And then it was sort of undone again by the A move, but that type of thing's going to happen. This is going to be pretty hard for Ice to break into with the queens as well for potential transfuse, but the drones are going down. remember, the roaches, sorry, are going down. These pink roaches have +1 attack, so they're very strong compared to the blue roaches of Kenpachi. One of the queens going down as well. It's going to be a little bit of a close fight here. But it seems like the pink roaches are winning. The drones are being pulled here. There's a few roaches in production for Kenpachi, and he is going to be able to push this away. The third base is pretty exposed here. Not sure if Iced is aware of that. But Kenpachi does survive. Pushes things back here. But the thing is, he's behind in workers and he's behind in upgrades. And Kenpachi has got +2 attack coming now. And his own third base. So at this point, the more time that goes by, the better it's going to be for Iced here, as he's got the worker lead, he's got the upgrade lead, and that's only going to get bigger and bigger. It does look like both players very interested in making only roaches right now. Still no roach speed, by the way. A little bit odd that Iced has forgotten that. A roach speed advantage would be incredible for either player. But still, there's a lot of roaches here. He's finally noticing the third base up there, so he's going to go and do damage and force the army down the ramp. This way he can pick a better engagement here against these roaches. Whoa, what happened there? That was a little weird. So yeah, so he's choosing to just target the army when it comes down the ramp, then he's going to go back to the third. And he can do this all day. With more and more roaches coming in, Kenpachi's looking like he's in a lot of trouble here. And this may be the final engagement here, as Ice is pushing Kenpachi back into his natural. There are a few more roaches coming, 7 more on the way. But things are not looking too good here for Ice, or sorry, for Kenpachi, as Ice is taking out the third base. That is now dead. He can focus all his attention on busting up the ramp, picking off queens and things like that. And as more roach reinforcements come along the map here, he's going to try to push up. He wants to move, yeah, just like this. Move up the ramp so more of his roaches can attack. And here we go. This is the beginning of the end here for Ice, as he's going to push up into the natural, take out all the roaches of Kenpachi and the queens. And there goes the GG. At least soon, anyway. The drones are being pulled off. And we all know what happens from here. We've all been in this position. Too many roaches for Kenpachi to deal with. GG. And that's going to give D-Life a point on the board here. So let's move back over here. So that's a bit of an interesting ZVZ. The pink Zerg player skipped Banelings altogether, skipped Zergling speed as well, and just went right into roaches, and then proceeded to skip roach speed on top of that. So that was a little interesting. Usually in ZVZ, you try to get that roach speed out right away, because if you have a roach speed advantage over your opponent, then you get to pick and choose the engagements exactly how you want. You can run away from a bad fight. You can chase down a good fight. So I kind of expected to see some roach speed there from Iced, but regardless, he was able to take the win without it. And that is going to do it for that set. So let's go ahead and move over to Photoshop here. Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't quite ready for this. Hold on. There we go. Da, da, da. Alright, we're making you red. Hey, what's up, xCloud? Yeah, I already noticed that. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into set number 3. God, the game is trying its best right now. I'll just tell you that. It's really struggling to work. So hopefully we'll be okay. Okay. So getting ready for set number 3 here on Acid Plant. In the top left corner, representing LiT, the purple Protoss, it is the captain himself, Jester Hat. And in the bottom right corner, representing D-Life, the yellow Protoss, it is Dahmerfest, is how I'm going to say that name. But if you're watching this, man, and I mispronounced it, I apologize. Just let me know how to pronounce it. You can get me on Discord or on CTL. And just let me know I made a mistake, and I'll try to fix that in the future. So we got a PvP here. And I've seen quite a bit of PvP recently, given you know, 1 or 2 of those days for the IEM tournament. There was just lots and lots of PvP. So we'll see if these players are watching as well and what they want to bring to the table. Double gas coming out of both guys. And we got some scouts going out here for both players as well. Probes going to be passing each other here. Little fist bump. And how will the builds deviate? That's really the most fun thing when we're looking at PvP here. We're seeing the second gateway coming down for both players. Robbing me of my fun, just going with exact same builds here. But this is a pretty common PvP opening here. You get the 2 gateways. You can get out some stalkers for some early pressure across the map. You can get out of depths for the same type of pressure. Dammerfest has seen what he needs to see, and he's going to go on and leave the premises. Meanwhile, Jester Hat sticking around, getting a look, seeing the chrono, or the cyber, sorry, not the chrono. And just going to try to see what comes down after that cybernetics core, because that's really the sort of fork in the road, right? You make your cybernetics core, and then you decide you want to go Stargate, which pretty much every toss does. You want to go Twilight, which is a little more edgy. Ouch. Supply block here really going to be hurting Jester Hat. These stalkers are going to be stuck. Also, he can't make his Stargate. I'm pretty sure he wants to make his Stargate down here, or his tech choice down here. You don't really want to put it on the front of the wall here, so things like that are being delayed. Meanwhile, on the other side, without the supply block, we see the warp gate started already. It's being chrono boosted out. Not seeing anything else here from Dammerfest just yet. But he's got a probe in here, so he's able to see what the next tech choice is going to be. Stalker's going to come out and push this probe away. And we do have a Twilight Council down here for Dammerfest, so he's not taking the normal route. And Jester Hat should be able to see that here. And it looks like he's getting ready for a natural down here. Finally, we have the Stargate going down here for Jester. A little bit delayed again, and he's going to be setting up for his natural as well. And it looks like he's just going to keep the Stalkers home and defend. Now, I've seen a few builds like this coming out of specifically LiT Protoss players where they like to get like 4 Stalkers out, maybe 6 Stalkers, get an Oracle, go across the map, and try to do a little bit of a double-pronged attack. In here, though, we see the Dark Shrine going down here for Dammerfest, and that's why I mentioned Twilight Council is typically a little more of an edgy opener because he wants to go straight for DTs. And DTs can be really scary. I mean, at least the Oracle is going to be created. But if the Oracle's on the other side of the map, not going to be too helpful. And if he has spent all his energy, it's also not going to be too helpful. He needs to save that energy to be able to tag those DTs. Shield batteries as well going down. This shield battery in the mineral line is such a pain in the ass to deal with when you're an Oracle. And we do have a proxy pylon over on this side of the map. Oracle is out. And we're going into Phoenix production now, which is probably a bad thing for Jester Hat, considering we know that Dark Templar are on the way. Jester is not aware of that at this moment, I do not think. No, he hasn't spotted it. So here we go. See, we got the 4 Stalkers at the front. He's going to distract Dammerfest with this little poke. Not much, really. He just took a few shots and then trying to go in with the Oracle here. Where is that Oracle? Oh, there it is. It's already in. But see this... shield battery just does so much to keep these probes alive that by the time all of this energy is spent, we only have, well, we got 5 kills actually, 6 kills now. Okay, scratch everything I said, because this Oracle is actually just getting an insane amount of damage done. But we're going to have the same amount of damage being done on the other side, and there's no way to respond for this for Jester Hat. He's got no way to see this type of thing happening. The Oracle is out of energy. He's got a Chrono Boost out another one. There's no Robo for observers. So these Dark Templar are just going to go ham here, and already matching the workers killed here is Dammerfest, and it's just going to continue here with 2 probes. He can focus down pylons. He can do whatever he wants. The Oracle shows up. I don't know if it has enough energy for the tag yet. These Dark Templar are kind of wasting their time here. Another Oracle is on the way as well. He wants to split his Dark Templar and just try to get as much damage done as possible. I see some more efficient uses for these Dark Templars. This is a good idea. That sucks. So there is still the one Oracle, though. He should be able to take out one Dark Templar, but the two are split now, and things are just not looking too good here for Jesserhat. How is he going to respond here? The Oracle finally gets the tag down. That DT's dead, but this one's still alive, and he's just killing the Nexus. And what's the follow-up here for Dommerfesk? He's got a 27-12 worker lead here, so the follow-up really doesn't matter. He can do whatever he wants. He's getting the Robo, probably going to get out some Immortals. This DT... So the one DT was being somewhat efficient, but this DT is in the running for being one of the more inefficient DTs I've ever seen. Now he's going to go back to being efficient. This specific DT... Actually, that's the same one that's got 14 kills right now, so maybe not, but... I mean, he's been efficient at one point. He's just trying not to be. There goes that DT. So I think that Dommerfest could have gotten way more damage done than he did, but he still got enough done. He's got a very heavy worker lead here, and it's going to be very hard for him to lose this game. But it's not over. I've seen worse happen here as Jesserhat is trying to stabilize. Going to try to be pumping out workers as fast as possible. He's got a lot of chrono. Not a lot, but he's got some chrono built up here, so he can start pumping out those probes a little better. This Phoenix is out and about looking for proxies, I guess. Not a bad move. This Zealot is a lost soul. And now he's just a soul. So here we go. Gateway explosion happening here. We got +1 attack coming. We got Zealot charge. And we got some Immortals coming out. He's trying to transition. So, doing pretty good. I like what Jester's doing, bringing these Oracles here. He could even up the worker count here with some very good Oracle control. Really wants to make sure he doesn't lose these Oracles. And if he can be active with them, he could potentially get a lot of stuff done here. Trying to make his own gateways over here. Stop that one Phoenix. I'm not sure if that was really the plan. But probably got a little bit flustered by the DT opener there from his opponent. So stopped at the one Phoenix. Realizing that in the situation he was in, more Phoenix probably weren't going to help him in that spot. But on the other side, Dommerfest just making use out of his large gateway count, warping in a lot of Zealots. Charge is almost done. He's going to have some Immortals as well. And he is warping in Stalkers here to try to keep these Oracles from doing too much damage. And they are getting a full scout, which is going to be useful. He wants to make sure he doesn't lose those, though. One of them is very weak. Ah! One more shot away from dying, but he does keep it alive. Nothing too exciting going on this side of the map. Just Jesserhat trying to probe up as best he can. Getting his own Twilight Council now. And Dommerfest just basically leaving Stalkers in his mineral line here to try to fend off these Oracles. Now we're getting back into that Phoenix production a little bit anyway. And it looks like the army for Dommerfest is ready to move out. He's got a couple sentries here. One of them's got a lot of energy, so he can sort of terraform the map a little bit with those force fields if he wants. He sees the Oracle here. And then he dies. I like the idea to put these stasis wards here. He expects an attack to be coming, so he's putting these stasis wards down to buy himself some more time. Definitely not a bad idea. And he's got to be warping in like mad here in order to defend against this. He's already got 4 shield batteries, so that's pretty good. And a couple Phoenix will help to pick up the Immortals. Even these Oracles can be useful as well. So how is this engagement going to go down? I do like what Dommerfest is doing, by the way, dropping that third base before the attack. Always a good idea to drop down an expansion as you attack, so that way, if you don't win the game with your attack, you can fall back to a third base. Never a bad idea. This is a little interesting what he's doing here, though. I think he's spending a little bit too much time on the macro, and his attack is losing its potency. The longer he waits, the more time he gives Jesserhat to defend. and warp in his own units. But he is going for these Archons here. Back at this third base. A little bit of an interesting choice here. I probably would like to see those Archons up with the with his main army here to help with his attack, but instead he's gonna keep him home. And now Jesterhat really wanting to take a third base, but it's not a very good time for it as, wow, very unlucky stasis ward for Jesterhat as only one Zealot gets caught. Now he's gonna be in position. Now he's got a lot of army units here to defend, especially with the shield batteries here. He's not in a terrible place, and Dommerfesk is turning around here, even though he's warping in. And now the Archons have joined the fight, so alright, I guess it's not too bad. I feel as though he's giving Jesterhat way too much time to prepare for this. But at this point, he does have a third base, so if he continues with probe production, you know, he'd be able to secure an even bigger lead. He has cut probe zone, he's making 4 more gateways, so he's essentially going all in here. Even though it's not really all in, it's kind of debatable, I guess, but, you know, when you cut probe production, it's kind of like a fake third base, and here comes a gigantic attack here. Jesterhat's going to have to be smart with this engagement. Oracles will be able to help out against these Zealots. Here come the charge lots running on in. Oh no, all of Jester's Zealots are caught behind his Stalkers, not helping at all. The shield batteries are going to be pretty good, and the warping in reinforcements are going to be good as well, but these Zealots are really struggling here, just clumping right up for these Archons. Guardian Shield going down for Dommerfest as well. Couple pickups here for the Phoenix, but things are not looking good here as these upgraded Zealots are just going ham on Jesterhat, and it looks like that's all she wrote. GG, says Jesterhat, and that's going to do it for game number 2. There we go. Pretty interesting PvP there. And like I said, I've seen that sort of attack a few times where you go up with 4 or sometimes 6 Stalkers and come in with your Oracle behind. And Jester was able to get a lot of kills there with that Oracle, more than I expected, to be honest. And that's the kind of thing that happens when the Protoss opens with a Twilight, is you can't really defend against the... you can't really defend against the Stargate opener that well when you open Twilight. Even if you go Blink, there's still... you know, there's still opportunities for the Stargate to get damage in. But in the end, Dommerfesk is going to go ahead and take that. So let me fix my thinger here. And that is going to be another red mark against LiT. So we've been gifted 2 wins due to walkovers. But so far in the actual matches played, we have dropped both of them. So it's now going to be a 2-2 series moving into the next set. Oh, you know what? It says Deathalicious in the... Here, let me fix that. It says Deathalicious in the overlay, but it's actually xCloud. That's what happens when you just take the text right off the CTL website. Hold on. There we go. Let's fix that. Because we are indeed jumping into xCloud's match next. And this is a TVT. Whoop, wrong overlay. So, a TVT, there's so many... I mean, I'm not a TVT expert. I might as well just preface this with that. But there are so many different early game stuff you can do in a TVT match. But you can also draw these games out very long. So let's see exactly what happens as we are going to introduce in the top left, representing LiT, the Red Terran, it is xCloud. CTL admin himself. And this SCV is up to no good. And in the bottom right, representing D-Life, it is MJVT in the green. So typically, it's not normal. Whoop, let's not follow the rocks. Let's follow this SCV. It's not really normal for SCV to move out that early. I'm sure most of you know that. And it's not really normal to not put a barracks at the front of your ramp. He's going gas first into barracks. Tells me it's going to be Reapers. At least that's my guess. He might even go for like a factory as well. We'll have to see. MJ on this side. What's this guy doing? Okay, he's going to go out and look for a scout, I think. Meanwhile, he's staying pretty standard here. He's got 1 gas. And xCloud is indeed going for that double gas. So I'm pretty sure when you go for double gas, you're not going to be sticking with Reapers. I think we're probably going to see a factory. And actually, MJ, this SCV is specifically out there looking for proxies. So he's trying to be thorough here. And as far as his, oh my god, as far as his rally is going, it's pretty close, but he's not going to be able to see the low ground here. He's too far away from the ramp to be able to see what's going on in the low ground. This is very, very close. If we're looking at his vision here, look at how close that was. That's what xCloud's pointing out in the chat. He even moved the racks over. He's saying that's calculated. This SCV, unfortunately, not scouting anything, as we are moving into a factory here from xCloud in the proxy location, and usually you don't want to be doing a low ground SC or a low ground expansion if you are being proxied. He's getting a bunker, though, as the SCV has moved across the map, seeing no buildings in xCloud's base. He knows what's up. Some more SCVs are being pulled. Is he going to pull some of the boys, at least, to help out with this attack? As the Cyclones are now in production, I think he's going to need a little bit more than 1 bunker here to defend against this. Going to take a little while here for these SCVs to come out, though, or for these Cyclones, sorry, to come out. So MJ has some time, but he's got Reapers. And I don't think Reapers are particularly good against Cyclones. We'll have to see how that works out for him. Floating the barracks over as well, it's going to give him a little bit of vision. And sometimes the Terran units will target the barracks instead of the units that he wants to. And that can always be a pain to deal with. Here we go. Only 2 Cyclones with some SCVs going to help out for repairs. Repairing the Cyclones as they go ham on this bunker. Bunker is not long for this world, and already MJ is being forced up into his main here. This second base is going to be canceled, and he's going to try to move up the ramp. There's not even a wall here, so the Cyclones are able to move right on in. All the while, these SCVs are just repairing. That didn't help him out too much, actually, that Reaper grenade. And so many SCVs going down already. That worker count is dropping heavily for MJ, and he's not going to be happy with how this is going, as even more Cyclones are coming on in. What is he going to do here? I mean, it's 1 Cyclone versus 4 at this point. GG already. And that's going to do it here as xCloud comes through for LiT and gets us our first actual match win on the board here with a cheeky early play. xCloud says that Cyclones need a dance emote. Just saying. I agree with you, man. I think they should all have dance emotes, to be honest. Alright, well played for xCloud. That's a very quick match. Going to give us a quick point here. And it's now looking like a 3-2 lead for LiT. And I was kind of thinking about just doing something different today, and instead of casting all the matches in order, I was just going to skip Solo's match and just move into KIAs. You know, just to mix it up a little bit. I'm actually joking. I know Solo's been waiting for his cast, so let's go ahead and jump into it. xCloud doing a TVT again next week, says he's not going to do that build again. But is it mind games, though? All right, here we go. Let's jump into the next set. I know we got a 3-2 lead here. Let's go ahead and introduce the players. In the bottom right, representing LiT, the LiT monthly master himself. In the red, it is Solo. And in the top left corner, representing D-Life. In the green, playing Terran, it is Mabadi. Alright, so let's do a PVT now. I had the pleasure of casting several matches from Solo as he played in the LiT in-house monthly, and he definitely showed a lot of skill playing Protoss against some pretty tough opponents. Let's see how he does against a Terran player here in CTL. This match, if he wins this, will actually secure the win for LiT, given the walkover situation. But of course, at the time of this game being played, it was not really something that he knew about at the time. So it's just the nature of CTL and how the scheduling works. You don't always know if you're playing a game that is going to get you the win or the loss. Here comes the probe, taking a look. Sees one gas. Sees a barracks. And it's probably going to see this expansion try to go down here for Mabadi. He's got an expansion down very early, just after the gateway here. I say very early. It's not necessarily like stupid early. It's not like a Nexus first. It's kind of a standard fast expand build. Coming out of solo, looking to at least take it into the mid game. Same thing with Mabadi on this side. And he's going into a second barracks here. And I've seen some Protoss do this. Is he going to make a third barracks? That's what I'm wondering about. Some people try to go for that stim combat shield timing with 3 barracks. Can be pretty good, but usually it doesn't have any medevacs with it, so it doesn't have a lot of staying power. Alright, Reaper coming in, seeing the expansion, jumping up into the main. Gonna try to get a scout off. Kind of interesting how the buildings are over here, so the Reaper might be a little bit confused for a while. As he's gonna get a probe kill, at least 1. Probably 2. Okay, how many probe kills is this Reaper gonna get here? Stalker heading on over. And a 4th probe going down. 4 probe kills for the Reaper. A nice little grenade there to get that Reaper out. Not too bad for Mabadi. He's going to be pretty happy with that. Typically, the Reapers don't get kills these days. But on the other side, the probe... Oh my god, I missed this. The probe has gotten in the way of the SCV finishing the command center by a split second. And he even gets... Oh, no. I thought he was going to get away. Probably could have got away, but he did not. Bunker going down, and the game's going to continue as normal. So just a 2 racks opener with Stim. Is he going to make a starport and then go for a 2 medevac 16 marine drop? Because that's exactly what this looks like. Although usually we see the reactor going down here. So usually there's a reactor that goes down on this factory. But we're not seeing that. Reaper comes back in. Getting a final scout. Not seeing any tech though. Didn't see the robo, I don't think. No, absolutely not. He actually hasn't seen anything from his opponent. So, Mabadi playing in the dark a little bit, but he's already got a build he was going for anyway. Actually, he's going for a tech lab, so that's interesting. So he is not going to be doing a double drop. At least not right away. On the other side here, robo is done, dropping down 2 more gates. Got some shield batteries as well. And everything's just pretty standard. Both players not being too aggressive with each other. Just playing it safe. Staying at home for that defense. Stim's going to be done soon, though. And we might see Mabadi try to move out and do a little bit of damage here once he's got that. More gateways coming out for solo. And some immortals. Trying to round out his army here. Mortals are going to be pretty good against Marauders, if there were any. They're also exceptionally good against these siege tanks. So, getting a Marauder count out early, or sorry, getting an Immortal count out early is going to help to counter this siege tank. Okay, so I think I know what's happening now from Mabadi. I've actually seen this a couple times, even in IEM. I think I saw a couple Terran players do this sort of 2-base push with medevacs, so it hits a little later, but it's got medevacs, so it's a little stronger. You can pick up these tanks and move them across. And Stim's already finished, and it might even time out well with combat shields. So it looks like that's the type of push we're going to be seeing coming out of Mabadi. But there is an observer just standing over here, just absolutely looking at everything and seeing it all happen. So I know they patched out the noise that the observer makes, but I can't remember what they did I think they added something else, though, to make it a little bit easier for players to see the observer, but I can't remember. It used to make like a whistling sound, right? When it was in sentry mode or whatever, or observer mode. But anyway, regardless, Solo's just got his eyes on the entire thing, and now he doesn't. But I think he's pretty safe to assume that the attack is coming. So he'll probably stay home and be defensive with this one. He's getting Zealot charge from his Twilight. He's got 2 Forges and a 3rd base already finished. I actually didn't mention that. So he's definitely going to be defensive here against this push. And it's already coming. He did have eyes on it with his Observer over there, so he's going to be ready to defend this as best as possible. He only has 1 Immortal, but oh, the tanks are sieging up in range of the Immortal. Oh no, 1 siege tank goes down instantly. That's going to take a lot of power out of this push as the rest of the Stalkers moving up to help the defense. Doesn't look like there's any other prong to this attack. It's sort of very centered on this specific attack. Moving a little bit closer, trying to get some damage done with that siege tank. And these Zealots are running around, going to try to go for a flank here. Could be interesting, especially if the rest of these Marines get lifted in. Let's see how this goes down. Those tanks, or those Zealots, gonna buy a little bit of time for the rest of Solo's army to get up here and try to focus down this siege tank. And down it goes with almost no trouble at all, plus a medevac going down. And overall, just a very successful defense coming out of Solo. And not much damage at all happening for Mabadi. He just donated 2 tanks and a medevac, and now he's out here with pretty much nothing to do. You won't even be able to lift all these Marines up, so he's going to be heading home pretty quickly here. He might go for a drop, but look at this expert observer placement. However, there's nothing really here. He's going to be able to warp in, maybe, to help defend against this drop. A few Stalkers coming in. And they're going to be able to kill this medevac very quickly. And that's about all she wrote for Mabadi on this side of the map. +1/+1 finishing up for Solo as well. And he's got a very well-rounded army here. Meanwhile, on the other side, we do have a 3rd base going down for Mabadi, so he's not totally out of it. It's pretty well, he's down 8 workers, but he's got mules here, so in terms of economy, it's actually not so bad. But Solo is very far ahead in supply because he's just hasn't really lost anything at all this game. I forget the hotkey for resources lost, but I know that it's going to be in favor of Solo. So he's just sitting back here. He's going to probe up his 3rd base. Sit pretty on about 66 workers. It looks like he might even consider a 4th base here. And just really take it to that late game. And Protoss is always pretty happy in that late game. We got Psystorm coming down. And some more gateways. And probably going to be looking into a very sort of standard Charge Lot Archon type army later on. If he doesn't just outright win the game with this push over here. This 3rd base has pretty much nothing defending it. And he's going to have to push down into the attack here. So that 3rd base gets lifted pretty instantly. And this is going to be pretty rough. He does have 1 siege tank up here he can siege up. And Solo's just going to run on home after forcing a lift. And I mean, this is still a win for him. The economy has been stunted. And that's all he really has to do. Especially when he's got a 4th base back at home. Just sit back and, you know, continue to grow that lead. We can see here the supply lead is just getting bigger and bigger here for Solo. And I think what he's going to do is probably step back and maybe even max out before he decides to move across again. Meanwhile, Mabadi's been playing from behind pretty much the whole time. He's got double starport over here. And there's a DT here for Solo. Didn't even notice that. Where is the Dark Shrine? I didn't even notice the Dark Shrine went down. This DT getting a lot of damage done. Usually there are DTs in other mineral lines as well. Yeah, he's got one in the natural too. Just killing SCVs. This is not going to be good for Mabadi. I don't know if he had one in the 3rd, but he definitely had one in the main and in the natural. Turret finally gets completed and is going to clear that up. Where is the Dark Shrine? I didn't even see that go down. Oh, it's just right here. Okay. So DT Harass doing pretty good. Keeping him ahead. Now, this is what Mabati's going to have to do if he wants to come back. He needs to get some damage done here. And drops is usually the way to do it. But Solo has found himself as very good defending against drops with this very good observer placement around the map. He can spot these drops very easily. He may have even caught the outskirts of that. It looks like he has as he's heading down here to defend his 4th base. And with the Stalkers coming in here, they're going to blink under the medevacs. Oh my god. Both medevacs go down, not even dropping a unit. And that's exactly what Mabati did not want, as Solo is now maxed out. 3-3 on the way as well. Halfway done. And how is Mabati going to deal with this here? His units are not nearly... Well, actually, he does have 2-2, so scratch that. I was going to say they're not nearly upgraded enough. But they are. They are even on upgrades right now. So that's one thing that Mabati is doing well here. But he's moved across the map now, and Solo has spotted it somehow. Yeah, this observer definitely spotted it. These Archons going to move up, try to pick off a tank nice and quick. Now the flank coming in for Solo. The tanks are exposed. They're left to die by the Bio Ball, and this is not good for Mabati. He's being surrounded on both sides. No medevacs to heal the stim, and this is just not going to end well. The entire army gets mopped up, and I really wish I knew what the hotkey was for workers. Ah, here we go. Units lost here. 7.7 thousand lost for Mabati. Well, just under 4,000 lost for Solo. And just not working out for him here. So now, Solo finally going to be able to push across the map. He's not worried about any sort of Terran army on his side of the map. He's going to set up shop here. The tanks are not even sieged. And that's it. We didn't need words for that. That was just not very good for Mabati. TB Ham in chat saying Mabati might have been plat there. So, little bit of a skill difference, and I think it was on display there. Solo basically didn't lose. Like, we saw he lost some, obviously, but the resource loss difference was just so high in favor of Solo there. Oh, he was a Diamond 1 player, apparently. So, that's actually going to do it there. That's going to make LiT take the lead with the 4th win, including walkovers. So, we already got the win in the bag, but we do have one more match here, ready to be casted. The one and only KIA coming on in to give us some entertainment here in this final StarCraft match of the day. For the diamond set on Backwater. Ugh. Let's see how this goes. So, introducing the Terran in the bottom right corner of Backwater, representing D-Life. It is Scruffy, which I have to say is probably the most wholesome name I have ever seen. I really like that nickname. And in the top left corner, representing LiT, in the green, the Protoss player, KIA. Got another PVT here to round things off. We'll see how these players like to play their respective styles. Another building over here on the far side. Or I guess no, not really. With the ramp being over here, it's not quite the same thing. Solo probably would have built his buildings on this side. Kind of interesting because the Reaper comes in and might panic initially, not seeing anything. But that's not the case here. Double gateway opener coming out of KIA. He's got double gas as well. Meanwhile, Scruffy sticking with the 1 gas so far. Moving into the barracks. Probably going to go for the quick expand. That's usually what Terran does. I'm interested to see how this game plays out. Cybercore going down. KIA only putting 1 in each gas here. Now he's mixing it up a little bit. And again, I don't know if this is deliberate. It seems pretty deliberate to me. Probably just getting the gas to time out real well with what he wants to do. And the SCV is going to come in. He's going to see the double gateway. He's going to go for the Stalkers or the Adepts here. It is double Stalker. So this Reaper coming across the map here in a minute is really not going to be able to get a lot done. Scruffy going with the very fast expand, but doing it on the high ground here. A little bit safe. I'm more of a fan of the low ground expand, but I mean, if you want to be safe, you're allowed to be safe, right? I ain't gonna be mad at you. He's keeping the Reaper at home too, and I think it's because he's expecting Adepts or Stalkers to come across the map. He saw the double gateway opener. Usually you would do that with the Stalkers, otherwise it's a little bit of a waste to set your income back so far. So yeah, these Stalkers are indeed going to be moving across the map. And the Reaper isn't going to be too helpful, but it's going to be a little helpful. It can throw the grenade down to bounce him around a bit. And he's going to have some support here. Probably from some Cyclones here coming from Scruffy. That does look to be the case here. He's also getting a bunker on the high ground, really playing it safe. I think he might be expecting heavier aggression than what's actually coming. But here are the Stalkers. Or I don't know, maybe this bunker is necessary. I'm actually not sure. Can those Stalkers? Yeah, the Stalkers can see the expansion here. So he's going to stick around, just poke away at some of these SCVs. Doesn't want to die though. And the Cyclones are coming out. Cyclone's going to do real well against Stalkers. So KIA is going to scurry back home to his expansion. Just be happy with the 1 worker kill he got. And move on. Stargate play coming out of KIA, sorry. Trying to be more consistent. And it's going to be an Oracle. And a 3rd base. Wow, look at that. That's a little bit weird. Don't usually see like a 2-gate opener into a delayed Stargate and then into a 3rd base. At least that's not something I expect to see. But this whole time, though, the 2nd base of Scruffy has not been mining. He hasn't neglected SCV production, which is smart. So he's still going to have the SCV count here. We can see the worker count is even. So that's good. But KIA has had a little bit of an income advantage for a little while here. Oracle is now out and going to fly across the map. See what kind of damage he can get done. No engineering bay out yet here for Scruffy. So this mineral line is pretty juicy. We can see a lot of damage get done from KIA if he gets in there. But the Cyclones are moving across the map. Now, I've struggled with this in my limited experience playing Protoss. And I really don't know exactly what KIA is going to need in order to defend against this. I think maybe a Void Ray, since he's got the Stargate. The Twilight Council is coming through. Not really going to be too helpful for the defense here. But here we go. Hellions showing themselves, sort of showing Scruffy's hand. The Oracle is actually turning around and coming back home. This is an excellent opportunity for KIA to get worker kills here. Oh my god, I did not see that. Oh my god. Alright, so that's pretty good as well. Now the attack is happening. The Cyclones are being lifted by the Phoenix. The Stalkers are trying their best here to focus down. But look at how quickly they die. Marauder in the mix here is just doing so much damage. And it seemed like KIA had what he needed to defend, but then all of a sudden he's got nothing left. There's still only 2 gateways here, so he can't warp in too much. He's already going to have to sacrifice this natural. These Cyclones just output so much damage. These probes evacuating this way may have tipped off the 3rd base to Scruffy here, and he's just rallying units across the map now. And what is KIA going to do here? He's making more Phoenix for the lift side. I think that's a good idea, but his warp gates have been lacking here. He's not warping in. Another Phoenix shoots out here. Going to get some liftoffs. 1 gets lifted. Oh no. Not looking too good for KIA here as these Phoenix are now being shooed away, and he's establishing position up here on the high ground in the main, already focusing down a Stargate. I'm trying to find this Oracle. I don't know where it is. It looks like it's dead. And more pylons going down, and basically The longer this goes on, the worse it gets here for KIA. More Cyclones strolling in. And there's really nothing he's going to be able to do here against these Marauders and Cyclones, which basically counter everything KIA is making. He's going to focus down some pylons now. Already supply blocked, and now with no buildings powered, there's really nothing KIA is going to be able to do. Very solid build coming out of Scruffy. He's got the wholesome username, but he's got the savage builds here against Protoss. And he's going to go on and bring the score a little bit closer here for DLiT. And it's going to eventually end up being a 4-3 win for LiT. As we just wait for the GG here. KIA is just trying to see what he can get done. The thing is, he's got this base over here that's gone undetected. And I have absolutely no problem with players doing this kind of thing in a CTL match. You're representing your team, you are fighting for them, and you are doing everything you can do to avoid the loss. So I don't hate him for this at all. In fact, he's going to be able to get 3 gateways up. But he's got no Cyber Core, so it's going to be Zealots only. And he wasn't able to get charge, so the Zealots are not going to be too helpful. Scruffy looking for the 3rd. Not quite sure where it is here. But he's in a real good spot. He's got a 3rd base completing. He's got a 4th base getting started. And he's moving into mech here as well. I kind of just neglected to point that out. Looking in all the wrong spots here for the bases. I like the choice to go mech against Protoss. I don't think it's necessarily something most Terran players do. But it's interesting. And this 3rd base is actually in a pretty good spot here. You can only be attacked by ground units from this location. So, even though we don't have a lot of units here for KIA, it might be a little easier to defend. But look at what we got coming here. It is just not going to happen. Finally, the base is located. KIA is going to breathe a large sigh of defeat here. Trying to pick up the Cyclones. It's not going to work. GG, well played. And that's going to do it. Pretty quick. Pretty quick cast today. We had 2 walkovers, like I said, and it's really too bad that the ace match had to be a walkover. It's actually really too bad that any of them have to be walkovers, right? But you never know what's going on in the players' lives. Hopefully, you know, these players who gifted walkovers to us, which essentially ended up giving us the win, hopefully everything's okay for them, because, you know, if it were me and I had a CTL match, the only way I'm missing that is if there's a major problem going on in life. So I'm really hoping everything's okay over there. But you can see the massive impact that walkovers give, as even though we got to admit, we were, in the matches that were played, well, it's 2-2. So, no, it was 3-2 for them. What am I talking about? Let me change this up. Jester's been smoking some of that good stuff, it seems. All right, that's going to do it. So, that said, that is actually going to give LiT the win. Again, unfortunate for DLiT. They really had a chance to make it interesting, but we got those walkovers, so it's going to give us the win. It's going to improve us to 2-1. DLiT started that game as 1-1 as well, so they're now going to be 1-2. And you guys got to stay tuned for next week's cast, because we are going to be taking on one of the better teams in the league. They were the previous champions from last season, and I don't know how to say their name. I don't know where my Google Chrome is. Here it is. Oh, Psionic Aftermath. Okay, good. I only knew their abbreviation. I'm just joking, Jester. I appreciate that, though. Yeah, we're playing against Psionic Aftermath next season. Or next week, I mean, not next season. And it's going to be a huge game, because the standings are not updated yet, but I think they're 2-0. So that's happening. Yeah, sorry, I say next week. I apologize. That's happening this week. It's happening right now, but we're going to be casting it next week. So stay tuned for that. As it stands right now, we're still looking at a Monday cast at around the same time as today's was. So that's probably when it's going to be done. I'll let my team know if that ends up changing. But so far it fits, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, guys, well, I want to say thank you very much to everybody who stuck around and chatted in the chat. Thanks for cheering on your teams, and I hope you enjoyed the cast. And that said, thank you very much. We'll see you next week with next week's cast. You guys have a good day.